Broadcasting live from the Jersey Shore, it's Coach Kev on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Indie Super Show here on the Damage 365 Radio Network. I am Coach Kev, leading you the way. We'll be joined momentarily by Damage 365 alum, longtime friend of the brand, April Hunter, talking about little what she did during quarantine, things like that. But at this point, Florida is predominantly open, so we'll talk to her about how that's going and the differences between there and, of course, up here in the Northeast. Let's take our first and only commercial break so we can give a shout out to our sponsors. And remember to please support your local mom and pop shops out there so they remain in business after this pandemic is officially over throughout the United States. Not just parts of it. We're all in this together, folks. So sit back, relax, and give us about, who knows, an hour of your time. But here's our sponsors, brought to you by the Damage 365 Radio Network.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
This is Thunder Rosa, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio.
The Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, selling wrestling memorabilia from all around the world, including WWE, Impact, ROH, Japan, Mexico, and the Indies. They sell action figures, lucha masks, t-shirts, trading cards, magazines, DVDs, autographs, collectibles, vintage video games, and more. Stop in and get tickets for local independent wrestling such as UWA Elite, CZW, and Synergy Wrestling. Located indoors at the world-famous English Town Flea Market, Blue Building, booths 45 through 48 at 90 Wilson Avenue in Manalapan Township, New Jersey. Open every Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. all year round. Visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/FunkensteinINC. New Jersey's largest wrestling store is the Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore. Tell them Damage 365 sent you.
This is the last pure athlete, Jordan Grace, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Check us out at one of our fine locations, 930 Route 34 in Matawan, New Jersey, or 233 East Main Street in Manasquan, New Jersey. From pizzas and salads to pasta and buffalo wings, we have something to suit every member of your family. Whether you're seeking to take out, delivery, or you just want to dine in, let us do the dishes, as we would be more than happy to take care of your next meal. Our courteous and friendly restaurant staff is here to meet and exceed all of your expectations. We promise an enjoyable experience at every time we serve you. Try our award-winning Sesame Crust Pizza, a recent winner at the Las Vegas Pizza Open. Visit us online at sesamepizza.com for store hours, menus, phone numbers, to one of our great locations, Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. So close to eating at Mom's, but without all the yelling.
Hey guys, it's Tennille Dashwood, and you're listening to the Indie Super Show on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head?
Hey, wrestling promoters and booking agents, you know where you can get inexpensive prints of your hired talent? Right here at Fast Copy Printing Center, located in the Pearl of the Bay Shore. That's right. Whether you need 8x10s, 11x17s, posters, long format, or even weatherproof signs, we can do it all. We also can create promotional items for your business, such as pens, business cards, drink koozies, banners, or just a coffee mug. Stop on down to Fast Copy Print Center, 81 Broad Street in Keyport, New Jersey, or just call at 732-739-4646. No job is too big and satisfaction is guaranteed. Tell them Damage 365 sent you.
Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and you are listening to Damage 365 Radio. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
And welcome back, everybody, and thanks for taking the time to listen to our local sponsors. And like I said earlier, make sure that you help support the mom and pop shops in your area so they remain in business when this whole shit fest is over with. And at this time, we'd like to welcome in one of the good friends of the Damage 365 brand. She was there at the beginning when we were first starting, and she's always been with us, and she's like family. April Hunter, welcome back.
Hello.
So, how's it going? Down there in the Florida area.
Well, first off, I just totally popped over Shitfest. I like that. I've been using Shit Show, but Shitfest. Well, you're in New York, so it's a larger scale up there.
Yeah, and we miss our conventions and our fan fests, so now this is just Shitfest.
What the fuck, right? Sorry, can I say fuck?
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, this show.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, man, I'm so frustrated because it's, you don't want to get me started because I will go, especially with the whole WrestleMania being in Tampa and WrestleCon and all of that just becoming just a schmoz. I was so looking forward to that so much. And kind of pissed me off that WWE decided to go ahead and film it anyway. Oh, and they paid the state of Florida, like millions to stay open 3 weeks later than they should have after tourism was killed, thus screwing us really, really hard with this whole virus. Like, people kept fleeing down here from the infected states.
Yeah.
And they brought it with them. We were holding it 21 people, and they were all like travel people. They came in from like Italy. Mm-hmm. We held it 21 for a long time, and then all of a sudden, they took that bribe and they to stay open so they could film WrestleMania, and we got overwhelmed, and then WrestleMania happened, and instead of just holding off for SummerSlam, where WrestleCon and WrestleMania could have run together, it just took so much money out of people's pockets. Yeah, I mean, look, there's of course, there's two sides to every topic. Some people will argue that, it's a multi-billion-dollar company and they had to keep paying their people regardless if they're working or not. And because of the limited work, and they had to, they released, now I think they're up to almost 40 total talents. I thought it was way more than that. They just didn't publicize the amount of people. There's a lot on the DL.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, I know that right off the bat, I think there was 26, and then it was like 7 more, and then I think they just, one of their guys, not that he was released, his contract was up, and they did not renew it, so he's gone. a lot of them though will be back. Once live shows will have fans, which they can benefit off the revenue from ticket sales, merchandise sales, concession sales, things like that. A lot of these people will be brought back, especially the backstage people. But right now, no revenue, can't pay them. Yeah. You got to cut your losses.
Nope. I'm gonna dispute that one.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Because I don't think that's going to happen. Now, I think maybe the backstage guys, like, the agents and stuff, because they're very valuable.
Right.
But I think they are using this as an excuse to get rid of people that they had locked up. I think that they're mostly not going to bring people back. I've talked to people, they had them sign NDAs
right.
for a long time. They did it during a time where nobody could work, so it's not like anyone else could pick them up. And they put people's lives in danger. Having them come in for WrestleMania during the height of a virus and then thank them by firing them. That is about the most incredibly fucked up, shitty thing anyone could do. And that is exactly what we are all saying, except I'm not with WWE. I have no intention of being with WWE, so I can say it, but no one else can.
And I would imagine that...
And I'm saying it for all my friends who can't say it, who are telling me this.
And I would imagine that April Hunter will not be expecting a phone call from WWE for a guest hello appearance at any time soon.
No, nor do I want one. No. Matter of fact, my first job opportunity out of Full Sail University was to write for NXT. And I was like, no. And they're like, why not? And I'm like, no. Just no. So, no.
So
no. It's like a bad relationship. You can't get away from it,
It's still no.
No. There's so much no there.
So
nice.
What were you doing to keep yourself busy? During the peak of it before they started opening things back up.
Oh my God, I am so busy. My businesses got inundated when all this happened. So unfortunately, I lost all my bookings.
Mm-hmm.
That includes rental stuff, everything. But I have April's Sensations on Etsy, which is hot soaps and candles. I am so overwhelmed with orders. I'm making stuff as we're talking. I've got back orders, trying to get that sent out. I have several websites that I keep up, and I opened another cosplay site on OnlyFans.
Okay.
That got busy real fast to make up for the bookings that I lost. I started developing a television show with a partner in LA, and we're doing that. And I've written a children's book that's under contract now.
That's cool.
And I'm working with the illustrator to finish it because I'm supposed to be the illustrator, but I'm overwhelmed, and illustrating is not my strong point. Like, I can do it, but I'd rather not if I can find someone else who's more talented than I am. So I have found somebody who's incredibly talented, so I'm hoping he'll take it on.
All right.
So, yeah, so we'll see.
And you still got to tend to your chickens.
I do. I tend to my chickens. My dog is fully paralyzed now.
Oh.
She requires a whole lot of care. And my cat is a spiteful cunt because I'm spending all this time with my dog, so he's not happy. Yeah.
Oh my god! So did they really make? Did they really make like one of those little doggy wheelchair things? Like it was in that cartoon. It was in that movie cartoon where the life of like the pets when you leave your house and all the shit that goes on, all the partying that goes on when you're not home. They had that one little old dog in his little wheelchair.
I haven't seen that, but she does have a wheelchair. Yep.
Aww.
And it's decked out with a little flag.
Oh, you got it. You're a pet lover. You definitely have to see the movie. It's like Life of Pets. It's an animated. Yeah, it's. I think.
Oh, is that the Secret Life of Pets?
Yes, but there's two of them. There's a sequel as well. You definitely got to watch those. Those are hilarious. It's
was
like
that on Netflix? Because I thought I added.
It might have been the first.
Only a second one.
Yeah, because the second one came out, I think, over a year ago, so it might both be on Netflix by now. But I literally are watching that, and I can just like picture leaving the house and seeing my dogs jamming out to like Motley Crue on vinyl or something.
All right, I'm definitely gonna watch that.
I mean, it's hilarious. It really is hilarious because it's like all pets. It's cats, dogs. It was like guinea pigs, birds. I mean, it was like the most hilarious, like ridiculous, but it was funny because like everybody always wants to know like what their dogs do, and I have cameras in my house, and I can never find those little bastards on camera. So it's like they know where the cameras are and they sleep under it.
So I'm gonna, that's gonna move up to the top of my queue. I just started that my show Hollywood.
Okay.
I got sucked into that one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of exhausted my watch list because I really only watch at night. You know me, I don't really sleep, so I watch a lot of stuff at night. Yeah, I don't sleep.
You turn the temperature down real low and stay up late.
Yeah, I mean, but you slept here for a convention weekend. I think I finally wrapped up everything I was doing, and I went to bed at like 3:00 in the morning to only get up at 6:30.
Yeah, that's kind of my hours. I just do a little bit later than you. It's like 3-4 in the morning I go to bed, and then like I don't know 9:30 I get up.
Yeah, I mean lately I'm no, that's definitely not happening with me. Now it's like 3:00, 3:30, waking up at like 11, 12.
Well, that's good for you.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. My business is my personal business is not doing anything except for the online stuff that we're doing, the weekly live shows. The part-time job that I have working in a finance office, that's closed until further notice. So I've been trying to keep busy with home projects and my own, selling some stuff, and which worked out good because I can actually see the floor in my office and in my office closet, and it's great.
That's nice. Very nice.
Not tripping over shit,
You're welcome to my place to start on that because I have some home projects that I haven't had time to do.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to be in Florida. I mean, not that it's cold up here, but I don't know if I can survive. You know how I like to keep my house, pretty much all year round, temperature wise.
We're in our upper 80s now for the most part. I think that's why we didn't have much of a quarantine, and I think it's because temperature does play a part into most viruses, and I'm going to guess this one's probably the same.
Yeah, I think they said extreme heat and UV actually keeps it dormant, but I don't think it kills it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I've been following this because I'm also a journalist. I've been following this very closely for a long time. I'm watching the patterns, and one of the first things I noticed was regarding the cruise ships, and that was that the difference in temperature between, like, say, 75 and 85 degrees. So your average cruise ship probably has the air conditioning on in the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. But the average port that they were getting, the people with an infection are getting off at, and they're eating and fingering all the goods and shopping and handing money. A lot of those places were cash-only places, like Bahamas and Puerto Rico and Mexico and Virgin Islands, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. They weren't getting rampant infections, and they were in the wintertime honing in around 80-something degrees.
Right.
And they typically don't use air conditioning there.
Yeah, they're used to it.
Yeah. So to me, that says a whole lot. And if you look at the infection rate in the north versus the south, we didn't get pummeled until everybody came down here.
Right.
Like all of a sudden there was we call it the Great Flea. Like everybody left from New York and everywhere else and came here because everybody's got, somebody in Florida they can stay with, and we were all basically uninfected.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gotten quite warm here, and I think we never had a full lockdown. Like we were always allowed to go on the boats and kayaking and out on the trails. Like they shut down playgrounds, but they kept walking trails open. We didn't have a curfew. Like Hillsborough County tried to do a curfew for like 3 days and people freaked out. And that was that.
I love when they try to implement something. I'll say like a curfew. Like I live in a small, beach / fisherman's town, and there's literally nobody around after 9 o'clock anyway. But like as soon as they put in a curfew that everybody had to be in by like 8 o'clock, like everybody started freaking out. I'm like, nobody goes out anyway after a certain time. So what's the difference? Why
being told what to do?
Yeah, like now that you're told that you can't go out, it's a problem. You didn't go out anyway.
Yes. Nobody wants to be told what to do.
Oh, see, I don't even care. I use it as to me, it's a win. You're like, oh, you can't go out after 8. Oh, cool. Can't go food shopping. See you later. I'm going to go sit down and watch TV. I mean,
I know, I'm with you on that. But it's like, okay, it's like, how much more fun is drinking when you're under 21? And then once you can go in and buy the liquor legally, you're like, eh.
Yep, that's why I stopped. That's why I stopped drinking when I was 22. I did all my partying between 16 and 21.
It's the thrill. That's why I always said legalize the drugs and lower the drinking age. Make the drinking age 16.
Oh, jeez.
Like legalize the drugs. We will just become so boring, like parts of Europe.
Everybody will be stoned. They won't want to drink.
They're already stoned. Everyone's stoned. That's why everybody drives slow in Florida. Everyone has a medical card down here.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, they always say, everybody. What was it? Jerry Seinfeld says, people move to Florida to die.
That's waiting room. That's the other side. Tampa Bay median age is 41 years old. They come here to party.
Oh man, I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm kind of Florida'd out. Between what was it? The last 4 years, I've been down there like 6 times between conventions and vacations, and it was just like enough's enough. I'm like, I hit like Georgia, and I'm like, let's go back.
Yeah, I live here, and I'm kind of Florida'd out, but I was so looking forward to the whole WrestleMania week, because it was just going to be a party. Everybody else was coming in. My friends from, like, England and Europe and Canada were coming in. Mm-hmm. I was like, finally, different people I can hang out with. And then I was leaving after that to go to Houston Comic-Palooza, because I haven't been able to go many places or do many things with Bella not being well. And I was in school for 3.5 years and just got out recently, so I was like, I'm dying to leave.
I've kept up you on social media. You always got something. You're like me. You can't sit still for more than like 30 seconds, or you feel like you wasted your time. You gotta get something going.
No, actually, that part is not actually true. I can sit still. I want to sit still. You just don't because I have 3 different careers and stuff's never done, and I'm self-employed. So if I don't get it done, I don't get paid.
Right. Well,
so
you got motivation.
Yeah, like I don't have a family. My family's all passed on, all my immediate family. I don't have kids, and I'm single. What the fuck else is there to do?
And you don't have any lunatic roommates, right?
Nope, nothing.
All right, good. I remember those.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, there's nothing more fun than having a roommate when you're a total adult and because you're trying to go back to school and you're only working part-time. Actually, I think I was working less than part-time. So at Full Sail. That's a 24/7 school. So yeah, that had to be done. I'm like, I'm out of school. Get out.
So one of the guest room that you actually stayed in when you were here, I put up some of the wrestling photos of guests that we brought in. Hung them in the guest room. So I'm waiting for the first person to stay here, since I've hung those, to laugh at the photo of you and the nice note that you left me on there about keeping my house at 55 degrees. So.
Maybe you'll probably get somebody like me in there.
Well, yeah, we're waiting to see what the heck is going on here, because we're Jersey and New York are pretty much staying on par with each other, and they extended our pause or whatever the hell they call it until mid-June, but things are starting to open this week, and a lot more things will be open by the end of the month, conveniently for Memorial Day weekend. So I'm sure the price of gas will skyrocket too.
Yeah.
So
It's still up right now.
we just don't know what's going on at the end of the year because that's like a big bulk of a time period for conventions between September this year because stuff got pushed back. From September to December,
Right.
there's probably like 6 things going on in the New York, New Jersey area. So we don't even know if that's happening because even though they might open things up, they might not allow things like conventions where you're going to have 2,000 people packed into a ballroom in a lobby of a hotel. So they might not even allow that. So
Right.
we don't even know what the hell is going on. But I have had inquiries because people know that, you and I do speak all the time, and we consider you a friend, that they want to know, did you still work in the ring?
I really kind of don't, because I got into a car accident 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it screwed me up worse than anything I've ever done before. And it was so minor, it was weird. But like when I bumped, it screwed up a little bit on my right side. This screwed up my left side, so my whole my right arm goes numb, which is great for riding, and my left hip. Yeah, because the left side of my neck. So I don't really do anything anymore.
Okay. Well, I will.
Yeah.
I will relay that the message across to them. But I am starting to work more and more with independent companies about booking women for their shows and promoting the idea of just doing an all women's program. So that was supposed to happen in April. Of course, that got postponed. It's rescheduled till July. We don't know if that's going to happen. So everything is kind of in a flux right now. And a lot of money is either going to get left on the table or it might be too much of a risk because, what's to stop a talent saying, hey, you know what? You guys might be open and all, but 2,000 people in a small confined space and they're all in my face. Maybe I'll wait till next year. So I don't know how this is all going to materialize, and I have no idea how people are going to react to this. Like I'm finding more and more as I talk to talent to negotiate deals that they're very hesitant and don't want to commit to anything till maybe like July, August area. So.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I've sort of been studying this,
Mm-hmm.
and okay. You might think I'm crazy. I don't know.
What, outside of normally?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Additional craziness. I'm like watching all the quote unquote science and all the conspiracy theories and all that, all the news and all that stuff. And my brother is in military defense and bioweaponry, so he warned me early that this was coming and to be prepared. So here we are a month later, and I'm still on the same toilet paper I bought when he warned me. So everything he said has happened. So here's what the theory is from this household. You can take it with a grain of salt or not.
Okay.
This is our actual second wave with coronavirus. Our first one happened in December and January.
I believe that.
The mystery virus epidemic that happened was coronavirus. That is the flu that they have been comparing. When they say the flu was more deadly this year than coronavirus, they are comparing apples to apples. That was coronavirus to coronavirus.
Right.
That's why so many people end up in the hospital and dead and on respirators. And here's why. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not an expert, and I'm not a scientist. I just come from a military family who know things, and again, you can just take it with a grain of salt and not believe me. I don't really care.
Okay.
That virus is a SARS virus. It was not man-made, but it was man-tinkered with. we live in a bubble. So most of us don't understand the Hong Kong-China agreement that happened early last year, and the protests that have been going on for months and months and months, the better part of the year, before this virus was released. And I say released because it was.
Okay.
So what happened was China, the government, lost control of its people in a big major way, to the point where they were burning down the cities. And you don't have to take my word for any of this. Look it up. So they're burning the entire freaking country for months. Tear gas and rubber bullets are not doing anything. It culminated in October when the police shot a kid at point-blank range with real bullets, and they start shooting people with real bullets. That's in October. In November, coronavirus happens. It didn't happen the end of December like we're told. It's in November. The first person that they found was November 17th, and that's in Dubai, so that's not patient zero.
Right.
So this virus mysteriously shows up in November right after they start shooting people with bullets. It is a virus that is not population control. It's a virus that is crowd control. It makes you go inside. It makes you can't breathe. It makes you get it from the crowds. It is not a fucking coincidence. So it is a SARS virus that was tweaked and customized to be used for crowd control. And meanwhile, and it was released from Wuhan, which is the military viral epicenter of China, into a crowded market on purpose for this exact express use. And it worked. It worked. The protest stopped. It worked fabulously. The problem is, and I don't think they planned for it to happen the way it did for the rest of the world. The problem is China's so prolific with trade is that everybody was flying back and forth doing trade because it was right before Christmas.
Right.
So you have business people from all over the world going in and out, in and out, in and out. And this is like a 14-day incubation period, a 7 to 14-day incubation period. And they're bringing it back everywhere. So Florida got hit really hard in the beginning of December, all through December, because everybody's coming to Florida when it gets cold.
Right.
Like they took out my ex's entire office. He works for the government. Everybody's gone. They just shut down. Everybody's gone. So it took me out. I have never been that sick. And here, listen, that's my lungs now. I'm 5 months later, and I only have 75% capacity in breathing. And I'm young and healthy, and I'm on 2 inhalers and Advair. And singular pill. So, I mean, it's real. It's a real thing. So, anyway, so that was the first wave. This is the second wave we're in right now. And typically viruses have 3 waves. So come next autumn or winter, we could be seeing it again once it gets cold again.
Oh, that's fun.
And here's the thing that they're not really mentioning either, or maybe I've withdrawn from the news. I can't take it anymore, but type A blood is particularly susceptible. Type O blood tends to be more resistant if they're not immunocompromised.
Yeah, that I've read. I actually spoke to Molly Holly a couple of weeks ago regarding that, and she actually didn't even know that. So I kind of informed her of that fact, and because I am O positive, and my wife is still working. She works for a warehousing company that supplies food to supermarkets and medical supplies to the New Jersey Department of Health. All the respirators, ventilators, masks, gloves, all that stuff is stored at her warehouse that goes to all the hospitals. So they handle all those orders. So she works every day. And she's had people, dropping left and right between the 5 different warehouses they have in New Jersey. Who's out for 2 weeks, and then they're extended out, and then they come back, and then someone else is out. So it's been she's been working like 60 to 70 hours a week, working from home on weekends. It's been nuts. They have done the right thing, though. They've taken proper precautions to a certain extent with people who have pre-existing conditions, putting them in offices by themselves that nobody else can really go in there. Everything's done by electronic communication. I've been fortunate enough in my lifetime to have a very, very strong immune system where I've never gotten sick. Like, I don't get colds. I don't get viruses. I don't get the flu. The only thing I ever had as a kid was the chicken pox, and I got the chicken pox when I was 16. So my body held out a very long time before it decided to say, all right, screw it, you're getting it. Because, when I was younger, and you probably can contest to this, one of your friends got the chicken pox. All our parents thought it was a great idea to lock us all in the room together so we all get it hopefully at the same time.
Yes. That's a different thing. Like, let's just let them all get it. So
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Get it out of the way.
I think that my parents did that to me, actually.
Yeah, they did it to me, but apparently I didn't get it.
Watching myself raw.
Yeah. I mean, all my friends got it between the ages of 7 and 9. And
Me too.
I got it at 16. So, and what sucked even more is I got it during the summer, so I didn't even miss a day of school.
Oh, man.
So
yeah, well, I'm type O blood, and I still got slammed with this thing, but I'm immune compromised. So, and I have asthma, so yeah, I mean, not everyone's exempt, but you are very fortunate.
Yeah, and I thank every day, that I am, someone who doesn't really get sick because, I have my biological father is diabetic, and my mother passed away from cancer. So, I've had, we have issues in our family when it comes to health. But I've been, other than being at one point in my life extremely fat, I really haven't had health issues. Like even when I was 400 pounds, and you saw me we were at WrestleCon in Orlando together. I mean, I had my own gravitational pull. I was a large man, and I had no other medical conditions until like right before I had the surgery. Then I started getting the high blood pressure, the sleep apnea, things like that. But once I had the surgery, all that went away. So, here I am going on May 5th, this past May 5th was 3 years since I had that surgery. I'm down 160 some more pounds, and I have no, existing medical conditions, unless you count pure boredom. But so I think I can't, you have to. It's becoming a serious medical condition. So I thank every day. And like I said, you see me, for a guy my size, I probably pushed myself a lot more than I should have. I didn't sleep when I should have. And, whatever. I mean, that was my own fault. I mean, genetics, yeah, but I let it get out of control. But I'm just happy that, medically I was able to do something about it. And then I just stay on top of it. Like, I literally just had a kid's meal for lunch, because that's all I can eat. My dogs eat more than I had a kid's meal. I don't know if you ever seen them. They come with these like tiny little things of fries. I eat like 3 of them. My dogs eat the rest. My dogs got their own order of nuggets in the refrigerator for later for dinner. And that's funny. And then I'd have the apple slices. I'll eat that for dessert later.
That's good though.
Yeah. It's like you see me, I post food all the time on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh my God, how can you eat all that? I'm like, dude, that's not for tonight. That's like for 3 days. That's tonight's dinner, leftovers for lunch tomorrow, my wife's lunch tomorrow at work. Like, I'm not eating all.
I love leftovers.
Oh, see, she was never a big leftover fan until she met me. But it all boiled down to her mother was just a really, really terrible cook. So she never ate anything at home.
I didn't realize that leftovers were so controversial. I thought everybody liked leftovers.
Oh, no.
Apparently this is a thing. Like, some people will not touch them.
Yeah, I think that's nuts. I mean, I might be a little tainted because, I'm Italian, and I always felt like the day later Italian food is like the greatest ever.
Yeah.
And I think
Indian food is better.
And I think that has something to do with the microwaves too, because since it cooks it from the inside out, it just enhances the flavors.
Anything spicy, like I always thought Italian food and Mexican food and like Indian food, like the spices,
Yep.
the more it sits, the more it, like, I don't know, it gets better.
Yep. Same thing with Greek food. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't know.
It's what it is. What it is. But the one thing I do learn that is if you make anything spicy, so I like spicy. My wife tolerates it to a certain extent, but the next day when you put it in a microwave, it like intensifies the spice. So she'll call me like crying, be going, "Oh my God, this chicken is so spicy."
Drink some milk.
Yeah, I'm like, just I don't know, stick your head under the faucet, suck it up.
Milk, bitch.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I mean, as far as like your household is concerned, like things okay at home. Obviously we know the chickens are doing okay. We haven't had any other wild animals steal any of your chickens lately, right?
No, I lost 3 this year, and then 2 of them got sick right at quarantine, and I couldn't get a hold of the vet. So I was like, I have a vet kit, and I have like minimal, and I have some chicken vet training,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh my God, what do I do? But I got them through with the antibiotic injections and the just all of it. One was severely dehydrated, so I did give her syringes of electrolytes and sovereign silver and all that stuff. So yeah, so they made it. So
All right, good. And they're still pumping out your eggs.
Yeah, they're getting a little older, so I'm not getting as many, but yes, I'm still getting.
Well, that's good. I always watched your little video clips of them running around and looking like they're having some fun. And my cousin up in North Jersey has some chickens, and once in a while they'll be taking pictures of the eggs, and they run around the yard, and then they have a dog, and the dog kind of like rounds them all up and puts them back in their little gated area. It's kind of cute.
That's funny.
It's like, oh man, it's like when America opens fully, we're gonna be like these chickens with the gate open.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're gonna be like, wee.
We had food shortages down here, like quite a bit, and there are still things that are sold out down here. I think it's just because Florida is so heavily populated in some areas,
Yeah.
especially the cities. Like Tampa Bay is ridiculous. So we still are out of toilet paper in a lot of places. We are out of a lot of food. So if you get grocery delivery, there's, about 20-25% is probably not going to make it to you. So you kind of know that you're going to overorder.
Right.
And eggs were a big thing that you just couldn't get them. So all of a sudden, everybody wanted backyard chickens. Like, everybody was looking for chickens.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? What are you guys going to do when we're out of quarantine? Like, what happens then?
Yeah, these are the same people that are all going to be trying to sell out their toilet paper on eBay.
Yeah, well, we live in a hurricane state. It's probably not a good idea. But you're going to use it. Hang on to that. But, yeah, it's like I ended up with my last chicken a few months ago because she was wandering around the city because an Armenian family had her and they raised her for food. And the wife changed her mind last minute when it came time to butcher her and just dumped her in the street.
Oh.
So I'm known around the city as the resident crazy chicken lady, so I got a bunch of messages on the Nextdoor app to come get this hen, and now she's mine, so I'm wondering if I'm going to end up with a bunch of chickens after all this is done.
That's okay. You got your little
I'll take them.
your little feathered family. It's okay. Everybody will have, as long as you don't have no fighting in the back, because aren't some of them get like very territorial?
Oh, they always fight. It takes like 2 weeks to assimilate.
Oh,
They're
boy.
horrible to each other. There's a reason why it's called henpecked and pecking order and all,
Oh, it's like
rule
kindergarten.
the roost. I mean, there's a million things that come from hens, and if you watch them, you'll know why. They're horrible to each other. They're brutal.
It's like kindergarten.
Brutal. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Good thing they can't talk, because then they would make fun of each other by rhyming their names with something silly.
I know. They do talk. Apparently, they say 29 words to each other. I did not know this.
Really? That's
Those are just the
interesting.
ones that, we stupid humans figured out.
Because I know dogs do it, because my older dog will be in the backyard, and the little one she's like a little crackhead. She's got so much energy. She'll like run out and stick her head out the door and let out a little bark and then run back in. And the older dog comes flying in the house because she knows that my wife is home. So it's like, she just barked. Like, usually she'll bark, and Hunter, the older dog, she don't give a crap. She'll just walk away. Like, she doesn't even pay her any attention. But when my wife gets home, whatever that little bark, whatever, tone, or she knows that means come inside because mommy's home.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, I think they have, like us. We have our own language. I think they have their own language.
Yeah.
Like down here, there's a lot of marine conservations, and they said that it's quite possible that dolphins are the smartest mammals ever, including smarter than we are. And you can't integrate dolphins with other dolphins because they are actual families. So it's like taking somebody from someone else's family and throwing them into your house.
Gotcha.
So they have their own rituals. They have their own kind of language. They do have an actual language. They communicate very well, much more efficiently than we do. And fun fact, dolphins are bisexual.
Interesting.
Yeah, learn something new every day.
Yeah, see, look at that.
But coyotes are also known to be extremely, extremely smart mammals. Their body regulates them so well that if they patrol a small area, they won't have pups that are too much for the area. They'll only have one or two.
Huh. Interesting.
And the fathers stick around to raise them.
Very unhuman-like.
So do the mothers.
There you go. Oh, man. So, what's going on future-wise? Like, you got anything going on going towards the end of 2020, or are you just playing it day by day?
I don't know. It's a good question. I've had 2 photo shoots since I've been in quarantine. One was at the start. The other was Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I know is I'm shooting and I'm updating, my Patreon page.
Okay.
Cheap plug, Patreon April Hunter. And my OnlyFans page, once again, cheap plug, OnlyFans April Hunter. And my own website, aprilhunter.com.
Absolutely.
But that's all I know that is for sure, because I don't know anything else.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I actually worked really hard to get back on the convention scene after being gone for almost 4 years, and had gotten quite a few, a couple of like really choice bookings, and they're gone. And I'm like, like it's hard to get back into the scene when you've been gone for a while. Out of sight is out of mind.
Yeah, but sometimes that's a good thing though, because when you're out of the scene, that'll eventually increase your resale value when you do come back. When you're around too much, people just assume, I'll just get her next time because she'll be here again. Or I already seen her last show. Or I saw her at this show. When you're out of the loop for a long period of time, people start realizing, shit, I got like 4, 5, 6 pieces that I need her to sign. I wonder if she's going to do anything. Then all of a sudden you pop up, and it's like, boom, there it is. And then they all go flocking to it. That's why I never understood with guys like, guys like Greg Valentine, who just show up at every single show everywhere. And I'm like, how does this guy make any money? I'm like, everybody has seen him like 15 to 20 times a year. Like, how can you make any money? And it just, I don't know if he just does that just to get out of the house out of pure boredom. I have no idea, but he's not cheap to fly in. He lives in Vegas.
I always had a rule: don't do the same city more than like every other year.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do
maybe once a year.
We got the big event twice a year, and I try not to bring in people that have been there recently. I try to keep my guest list very obscure. sometimes it's hard to bring in first timers because it's just really hard because I'm not the only person courting them. You know, and then plus I like to showcase some of the independent talent from time to time that are, you know, with social media, they've made a name for themselves. And, you know, and when I travel to different states to do shows, whether it's Florida, North Carolina, and things like that, I've noticed like WrestleCon. When WrestleCon returns to the same state, not even let alone same city, the same state, I feel that the attendance declines every single time they return, whether it's Florida. You know, a couple years ago we were in Orlando, and from what I was being told, their ticket sales for the Tampa show weren't that good. When we did New Orleans, that was the second time they were in New Orleans in 4 years. I wasn't there for the first one, but, you know, everybody was complaining that it was slow. Last year it was in New York City, which they've been in New York City a ton. And the people were complaining that it wasn't as busy. You know, I don't know if it's, you know, the venues they're using or the layout or, you know, demographically it's just bad for people to travel and commute. You get a lot of international fans that don't have cars, so it's hard for them to get around. I have no idea. But I just know I've just been noticing more and more that these big shows that visit the same cities and states, you know, too many times in a 5-6 year span, it just suffers every time. So sometimes, you know, it might be beneficial to say, you know what, I'm going to skip it. I'm just going to I'll do the next show. Like I didn't do New York and I wasn't going to do Tampa. You know, I did Orlando. I did New Orleans. Next year it's supposed to be in LA. I will be there in LA.
And that makes sense. But I think I think with Tampa it was too soon to tell because we were already worldwide. We were already in the coronavirus, and a lot of other areas were already well into quarantines and lockdowns and travel restrictions. I remember when it hit the UK, like Dick Richards, we had planned to have a beach day, and when they went into quarantine way before we did.
Right.
You know, then Trump did the travel ban, and we were just like, fuck, no, come on, really? So it was like, oh, man, like, sue me, like, oh, man, like, my friends were coming in from all over, Ron Hutchinson. It's like, I was so looking forward to seeing people that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah. No, it's...
They all got travel restrictions, like 3-4 weeks before we did, and that's, you know...
Yeah. No, I remember that.
Fans were writing me. They're like, "Oh my God, I don't want to get my tickets because all this stuff is happening."
Yeah, and a lot of I think a lot of the problems with WrestleCon this year also be with Tampa. They waited so long. It wasn't their fault. They waited so long to announce a venue, and it wound up being an outdoor baseball stadium, which is not the greatest ideal place for a meet and greet. And, you know, Vince has been trying to push them out further and further away from the WrestleMania events. He did it in New York.
Really?
Yeah, he did it to them in New York. And he ran Access in Brooklyn. So people who were going to Access that also had tickets to WrestleCon, it was taking them almost 2 hours to get from Brooklyn to Midtown Manhattan. And then it was taking them another 40 minutes to get from the lobby to the multi-level... Because it was like on 3 levels, the signings. It was on 3 different floors. It was taking them a half hour, 40 minutes to get up in the elevators. So these people were taking 3 hours to get from one point to another. And that, again, it took them a while to announce that. But, I mean, they literally didn't announce that they were doing it at George Steinbrenner Field until, I want to say February. It was like February when they finally, because usually they announce that around Christmas. So, but again, it's not really an ideal situation. It's, you know, outdoors, it's hot. Talents are going to be sitting there outside, you know, probably sweating, signing autographs with thousands of people around them. The VIPs, of course, will be in the air-conditioned suites and offices and things like that. So I don't really think it was an ideal situation signing-wise. I mean, I am glad that they were able to get their money back for the hotels and the venue and things like that because, you know, fans need WrestleCon every year. And if they would have got screwed out of those deposits and things like that, they probably would have been out of business.
Yeah.
So
Well, on the flip side,
mm-hmm.
when you're outdoors like that and there's some heat to it, no coronavirus.
Yeah, but I just can't, to me, if I'm going to sweat,
It's not going to be spreading.
I'm going to be earning that sweat. I don't want to be sitting there sweating, doing nothing. I want to, I want to be earning that sweat, moving around, doing something,
I know. It's really not that bad at that time of year, though.
It is for us.
Yeah.
You're used to it.
Would it have been shaded?
Yeah, it was covered concourses. So it would have been just humidity and the overabundance of a crowd of people just causing more body heat.
It's not that humid that time of year either, so we probably would have been okay, but hey. I'm just saying.
Not a fan of outdoor events. Especially,
I'm not either.
I mean, baseball games, even when I had season tickets, I used to try to sell my middle of the summer weekend tickets because I didn't want to be sitting in a seat for 3 hours just sitting there sweating.
What, you don't like sweat and swallow?
Nah. And you get, back then I was a big dude. I would get stuck in the seat,
You don't have to be a big dude to get stuck in the seat. I get stuck in the seat.
No, it was just because my ass was big and, I was probably getting swollen by sitting there.
I just get sweaty.
Yeah. You leave the sweat angel on the seat when you get up.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so gross.
Well, the sweat fairy has visited.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. I get made fun of already because even now, I still sweat. You lose weight, you don't lose sweat, and I'll get up and I'll just oh damn it, and I'll just wipe it off with my towel or something, and everybody how are you sweating? I'm like, I don't know. I sweat. I have I'll go outside in the winter and have a snowball fight, and I'll have frozen sweat on my forehead.
I do too.
Oh man. So where can since you were plugging yourself earlier, we'll give you the platform to do the full plug. For fans to get in touch with and interact with April Hunter.
Okay. So I have, let's see, we'll run down the gamut. I have patreon.com, and that's April Hunter. I'm super easy to find. OnlyFans, April Hunter. AprilHunter.com, which is my old school website. And then everything else, let's see, Facebook, Twitter, Twitter's April Hunter. Facebook and Instagram are real April Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's funny, too, because there's a boxer in England named April Hunter, and she's done some controversial stuff.
Right.
And I'm getting her hate mail.
Great.
So apparently she is gay.
Okay.
And has disobeyed, she was in the Middle East and disobeyed Muslim law by kissing her girlfriend in public. And the slew of hate mail that I got for her was pretty unbelievable.
That's pretty...
Which I can kind of understand it to be pretty... I mean, I see both sides of that, but I also abide by, when you're in someone's house, you play by their rules.
Right.
You're not going to go over there, anywhere, and change their whole attitude or their way of life by doing what you want. It's just not going to happen.
Right. Just going to make you a public enemy number one.
Yeah, and you're not going to get asked back to work.
Yep. Yeah.
So, after the, 17th nasty thing saying, you're so ignorant, I can't believe you did this. Why would you do that? I was just like, dude, it's not me. I'm not a boxer. Not me. Not a lesbian, not a boxer. You might want to look up the correct April Hunter. Okay?
Yeah, it's true.
Also not a tiny blonde, and I'm not English.
No.
So if you look at my pictures, I'm the redhead with the big fake tits. She's the tiny blonde from England without big fake tits. There's a massive difference between us. You might want to send the hate mail to the right girl.
Oh man! So I always described you to people. We was doing our Facebook sales, and we had a bunch of signed 8x10s of SoCal Val, and you know, I hold them up and I'll go through the whole montage and be like, oh, former Impact Knockouts, ring announcer, blah, 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 blah. And I'll like, my second favorite redhead, SoCal Val. And I put it up and everybody, of course, is like, who's your favorite redhead? I'm like, April Hunter, duh.
You're awesome.
But I can tell you right now, Saraya Knight does not like being third. She's not happy.
Oh, well, you know, fuck her. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Because I told her, she heard me say that, and she was like, you know, in English accent, she was like, what the hell am I? I was like, third?
Yeah.
It's like, sorry.
Yeah, mate, you're having a laugh.
Yeah.
You're having a laugh over there.
Nah, she had a handful. I think at that point she had a handful of my balls, and I ran away. So.
Sarah is awesome.
Oh my
my
God.
Favorite redhead.
Oh, she's definitely a handful. She's been here. She's spent a weekend here, and she's had her hand in every orifice of my body, my wife, my partner Amy, whatever she could stick her hand, she's had it. So, but
okay.
Yeah, well, she's very grabby. But
okay.
I did get to meet.
She was my veteran when I started.
Oh, okay. I did get to meet her daughter. Her daughter Paige was in town with her boyfriend's band performing in New Jersey, so we got to hang out with her one night. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Paige is a sweetheart.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel that the public likes to target her for all the wrong reasons, and they need to start focusing on the positives of her and the positive effect that she's had on the business, not only just a movie that they did, but, you know, down the road, you know, she's the next Saraya. Like, she could be the next, you know, English trainer that that wrestling is going to need, because English wrestling, the trainers out there, they're just starting to, you know, they're getting old, they're retiring, they're disappearing. There's not that many left, you know. William Regal's doing his thing with NXT, and Saraya's still doing her thing there, and there's not that many left. So, you know, Paige could be you know, she decides to go that way with a career, she could continue that breed of the UK style of wrestling.
Her brother is quite good as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, I've had bad timing my entire career, basically, as far as wrestling. So when I got into Kowalski's and was ready to do anything, was right when WCW and ECW were being absorbed, and they were trying to pick through contracts and figure out what was going on.
Right.
So I went to England. I went to England and Japan, and in England, Saraya was my veteran. So I was on tour with her, and just about every night she beat the shit out of me with big time wrestling and Irish whip and everything else. And you know, thank you, ma'am, I have another. I remember one time she full on body slammed me on a wooden stage, and I didn't want to say anything because I was so young at the time. I didn't know to put my feet down when you're doing a floor slam. Like, no one taught me that at Kowalski's, because you're not supposed to do a floor slam. You're not supposed to take one. So, but it's different in England.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're out there, and she does it, and I take the bump on the floor, and it knocks my hip out, and I couldn't walk. And I finally had to say something. I was like, I don't think I can wrestle tonight. I'm really messed up. Like, I thought they were going to berate me. They're like, okay, mate, you know, make sure you do, you know, take care of yourself and take some time off. Like, I was waiting for it like they do in America, but they didn't.
Yeah. No, it's a different everything out there.
Very different. I loved working over there, so I just went back and forth for years, and I got to know her and her husband, kids very well, and I can tell you that Paige is a sweetheart, and she's not like her public persona is being portrayed.
Right.
So, and it's really hard to be in a country where you're by yourself and you're different and the pressure's on you to make it.
Right.
It's really hard, and a lot of people don't understand that because they've never traveled. The majority of Americans don't have a passport, they've never left the country.
Right. No,
They've never
it's
left
true.
the country. A lot of them have never left their state. If they have left the country, they've gone to a nice plushy resort. They've never had to work and be the outsider. They've never had to try and make it. They've never had to deal with language barriers and all that stuff. They don't know. So it's really easy to be hard on somebody when you've never experienced any of it.
I just feel that...
It's funny, we're supposed to be this Christian country
Yeah,
where,
right.
you know, we abide by those principles. Not judging is very much part of that, and we're the most judgy motherfuckers of all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that the internet magnifies that. That's, you know, if Paige was a wrestler, say, during the 80s, and I'm saying, like, if female women's wrestling, the way it is now, was if it was like that in the 80s, with the absence of the internet, social media, camera phones, and all that crap, she would probably have the most remarkable career, talked about, storied career for everybody still be talking about it to this day. But unfortunately, we don't live in this day and age anymore, and everything is magnified times 1,000.
But you know what? So what? So what? She's young. She got into this business young. Every single person has screwed up and done stupid things, and it's a rite of passage when you are 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You are supposed to make bad decisions and learn from them.
Yeah.
That's how you make a life. That's how you learn what you're supposed to do and get on the right path.
I agree with you there, but you know.
Everybody needs to just let it go.
Yeah, well, you know how that works.
Because everybody who has lived a little bit has done dumb stuff.
Yep.
And if you haven't, you're not living.
Yep. I agree.
You're not living.
I agree 100%.
So thank God there was no cameras and video around when I was young. Holy hell.
That's what I was saying. I was sitting with a group of my friends.
Survive what I did.
I was sitting with a group of my friends, and I said, thank God there was no camera phones. You know, we had disposable cameras, but who the hell, like, whipped one of those out in an instant? Thank God there was no cameras.
Did. I occasionally will get a picture from a friend of mine, like, look what I found when I was going through my picture album.
Oh, God.
I'm like, put that away. Just put that away.
Way too much hairspray.
Yeah.
Oh, all you girls from the 80s and the early 90s were like walking flammable fire. Like, oh my God. Like everybody would light a match near you.
Ruining the ozone layer.
Ruining the ozone layer. You guys lucky that your heads didn't catch fire from someone lighting a cigarette.
I know. You're not even lying.
Everybody would be a redhead.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, but seriously, if Paige was not a good person, she would not be in the business still, because that's how hard we are on each other.
Yep.
She would have been pushed out. So that means the other wrestlers like her, like working with her, like having her around, and fans' opinions be damned, because it doesn't really matter.
Nope. The bottom line,
because we push people out.
Right. Well, the bottom line is the bottom line. And I say this to people all the time. They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, the bottom line being, all said and done is the bottom line, meaning money. She makes money for the company. End of story.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And I can like I said, I can very easily see her transitioning at one point from her on-screen persona to training at NXT, because she is the poster child for, like you said, coming from another country by herself, representing not only her country, her entire family, and starting from the bottom up of NXT, working her way up the ranks to WWE, and then when her career is over, she's back at NXT training the next generation of possibly the next her.
Oh, yeah. Not just that. The way she's gone about with all of this is she hangs in there. Books, TV, movies, all of that.
And
all of it.
And hopefully,
an amazing story.
And hopefully, table space with Damage 365 Promotions.
There you go. Because bad decisions make great stories.
They do. I mean, come on. Some of your greatest wrestling. Look at Ric Flair's book. Oh, my God. That guy was a career of bad decisions.
Aren't we all, mister?
But I do appreciate you giving us a call and, shooting the shit with us, through this shit fest, as we said earlier. And hopefully we get to see you very soon, but probably not until next year.
Yeah.
But just as I say, that the sun comes out.
The antibodies.
Yeah.
I already got it. I've got antibodies.
It's funny. Just as I say that, the sun comes out. So maybe that's a sign.
There you go.
Maybe that's a sign that we'll be seeing, hopefully, April Hunter very soon at a convention or fan fest near you. We definitely got to make that. We're gonna have to have like a reunion tour. So if I call you and I call Amber O'Neil show up 3 hours late.
Well, she's on wrestler time.
She's on Amberland time, which I don't think they got clocks there.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better about that. I've had to. Like when I went back to modeling after. I mean, like, I love the fact that I went to school for almost 4 years to get a degree to go back to modeling. It's like, fuck. So in modeling, if you're on time, you're late. So they've already given your job to somebody else. So
yeah, makes sense.
You have to be early.
That would make sense.
Yep. Just assume you're not showing.
So always be, it's like working in retail. If your shift starts at 6 o'clock, if you're not there by 5:45, you're late.
Yeah.
It's the whole tagging in thing.
Yeah. I'm just fortunate that I can still do it at this age. It's like, okay, cool. I'll just run this train into the ground. Why not?
Alrighty. Hope people don't take that out of context. Jeez.
Can they?
I'm sure they will.
Oh, well, people can take every single thing I've said out of context.
It's okay. It makes for interesting conversation.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Well, again,
have at it, people. Have at it.
That's right. Well, again, I thank you, and continue to stay safe and be well. And if you need anything, we're here.
Thank you. Same to you. And I hope your wife stays, staying with all those hours.
Yep, she's good. She'll be getting hopefully a vacation soon. If not, I'm going to tell her to take the entire month of December off.
Yeah, maybe a big fat bonus would be nice.
That's what I thought. I was like, you need to that, or at least ask for another week of vacation so that you can carry it over till next year. I mean, this is ridiculous. But
yeah, I think a lot of people that are doing this, if they haven't gotten higher pay, they should be either getting a bonus or extra time off.
Yeah, well, she is getting the higher rate of pay.
Yeah.
And they've taken care of her and showed her their appreciation. But to me, it's like she comes home, she's wiped out, she's exhausted. She's lucky she makes it till like 8:30 and she's like ready to pass out. So it kind of makes doing anything when she gets home from work impossible. If we need to get stuff done in the house or we need to run out and do a quick grocery shopping, whatever it is. It's just not happening. So we got to kind of wait for the weekends to do everything. And that's when everybody else is doing it. So, you got a lot of people doing the same thing in the same small space. And then, you got the shit fest. So,
delivery.
Yep.
Delivery.
Yep.
All of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like to get out, but I mean, thank God I have a yard. If I didn't have a yard, I would probably just run into traffic at this point. Try to do the Kobe Bryant and leap over cars, except I'd probably trip over the bumper. So I'm not going to get that high. I don't think the 6-inch vertical leap is going to get myself over a car. So, all right, April.
Speaking of,
yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of California, dude, Shad.
Yeah. That's
shit.
That's some crazy shit. You know, if it comes down to it, and I mean, right now it's a recovery effort, but if it comes down to it, you know.
No, they stopped.
You know.
They stopped. They gave up today.
Well, at this point, you know, he's a hero. You know, he gave his life to make sure his son was safe.
Yep.
So people will remember that forever and ever. And in an era of a lot of negative, of people passing away from doing stupid things in the past that finally caught up to them, this one will definitely not be that way. This will go down as he's a hero, and I just feel for his son, because that can have a long-lasting mental effect on him as a young kid, knowing that his father died saving him in the water. So, you know, thoughts go out to the family, and you know, hopefully, you know, for the family's sake, I hope he's recovered so they can get some closure.
I do too. I really feel for them, and yeah, my heart breaks for them. Yeah.
Man, way to
Sorry to leave on.
Yeah, way to drag down.
I'm sorry. Okay, go back to your yard. Anyway.
No, yard. We're gonna end the show on a positive note, meaning go visit April Hunter on social media.
There you go. Visit me on OnlyFans and Patreon.
Yeah. Go tweet her and tell her what your
my lack of appearances.
Yeah. Go tweet April Hunter and tell her what your top 5 favorite redheads are.
No.
Come on, you can. Do it.
Well, okay, no, wait. It's me, Soraya, Christy Hemme. Hang on, Lita. This is not in any particular order, and hang on. Wait, who am I missing?
You got SoCal Val. You got Maria Kanellis.
Who else?
I don't know who else has got real red hair.
Well, that could be real.
Well, some of them might be. Who else has? Well, you got Christina Marie on the indie circuit. She's definitely a redhead. I don't. Oh, now I'm gonna have to think about it.
Oh, and Allison Kay, because even though she's not a redhead, she's still a redhead.
I love Allison Kay. She Damage 365 alum right there.
Yeah, she's a redhead inside. So there you go. That's my 5th favorite redhead.
There you
she's
go.
Probably my 2nd favorite redhead. Okay, there you go.
All right. So tweet April your picks, and that's it. I appreciate it. You coming on, and we'll definitely talk to you soon.
All right. You have a good one.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
That was April Hunter, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you to her for coming on the show. And always a fun time with her, especially in person. Good thing there's no cameras going on when she's here, because we've had some conversations that are pretty hilarious, especially in a car. But fun times. So we'll pull in another great guest for you for the next show. And we'll be talking to you all soon. So as your states are starting to open up little by little, we ask that, you just stay safe and, stay on course with doing what they want you to do, even though you don't want to do it. Just do what you got to do to stay safe. Keep your family safe. Always remember, it's not only you that gets affected by this. It's whoever you come in contact with. Whether it's the elderly or you children or things like that. So just don't be stupid and be patient. We're all in this together, and don't make any corona or quarantine children, and don't name your kids Quarantina or Corona. That's just awful, very awful. And you could do that by help controlling the nitwit population and having your friends spayed or neutered. On behalf of all my sponsors and our guest, April Hunter, we bid you a farewell, and we will see you next week here on the Indie Super Show, brought to you by the Damage 365 Radio Network. So long, folks.
deceived by my eyes, and all I was told